How's everybody doing? All right? Pretty good stuff, right? Hey, I appreciate everybody. We're going to start our 127th AAU National Convention Awards Luncheon. And I do want to introduce a very special guest to kind of kick off our awards celebration here today. And this is a gentleman that I've got the absolute utmost respect for. He is not only a former athlete, he's a business person, he's a pillar of the community here, and his heart's in the right place. I'd like to introduce Mr. Harris Rosen. And Harris, I'm going to bring you up in a second, but first I'm going to brag on you a little bit, if that's okay. Let me just tell you, when we started looking at this stuff with Harris, he's a president, obviously, and CEO of Rosen Hotels. He is Florida's biggest independent hotel. I'm going to tell you a quick story. My wife called to get something up in the room the other day, and I said, well, which property are you looking at? Mr. Rosen has got multiple properties. And how many have played in the scramble over Shingle Creek the other day? That's a great golf course one. Al, I saw you down in the weeds with a weed eater. And Kyle Gowdy, I saw you with the eraser, knocking numbers off of your guys. But that's also a Rosen property. But Mr. Rosen founded in 1974 the Rosen Hotel and Resorts. And he features a collection of 9 Central Florida hotels providing over 6,000 hotel guest rooms. And it is approximately 6% of all the hotel rooms here in Central Florida are Rosen properties. He was born and raised in New York, the Lower East Side. Where's my New York folks? Are around here somewhere. Mr. Rosen has a Bachelor of Science degree in 1961 from the School of Administration at Cornell. He served 3 years at the United States Army, an officer in Germany and South Korea. Afterward, he completed the Advanced Management course at the University of Virginia's Graduate School of Business on a Hilton corporate scholarship. He began his career at the Waldorf Astoria in New York City as a convention salesperson. Continued with the Hilton Hotel Corporation, occupying various management positions, and was with more larger Hilton properties. Rosen then joined the Post Company of Dallas. We got our Dallas folks in here. As a director of hotel operations, where he's involved in the development and management of one of the finest resort properties in Acapulco. He left Post Company after several years to join our good friends Disney. And we are welcome with the Disney folks. We'll meet them. They are here in our presence today. He worked with Disney in California in 1968 as a director of hotel planning for the Walt Disney World in Orlando. Rosen left Disney in '74, purchased a 256-room Quality Inn on I Drive. Shortly thereafter, he acquired Roadway Inn on Dry Drive. His next venture resulted in the purchase of 14 prime acres here on I Drive, leading to the development of the Quality Inn Plaza, which is at that time the largest Quality Inn in the country. 1987, he completed the first phase of a 640-room Comfort Inn in Lake Buena Vista. We're all familiar with that. In 2010, the property was upgraded to the Clarion in Lake Buena Vista. The same year, Rosen chose to engage in extensive, multi-million-dollar renovations for his leisure hotel Portofino. In 2010, it also marked the year that his properties were renamed under the Rosen brand. I tell you, if you've ridden around, even going to our office, you can't drive around Central Florida without seeing Mr. Rosen's name on these properties. September the 13th, 91, the 800-room Rosen Plaza, here we are today, was built and the doors opened for the first convention hotel in the Rosen Hotel and Resorts family. Completed the first fiscal year with occupancy in the mid-90%. Are you hoteliers in the room or those that work in our housing partners? You know that that is just phenomenal. However, he's not just a very successful business person. He's not just a staple of our community. He gives back. He's philanthropic. He has a heartfelt mission to do right by the children and the folks that he touched every single day. Education and wellness have long been at the forefront of Mr. Rosen's philosophy and endeavors. He strongly believes in the opportunity to receive a better education and can and must start as early as 2. His beliefs are evident in his longtime commitment to the underlying Orlando neighborhood of Tangelo Park. And if you don't know, it's an area here in Orlando that certainly deserves attention, and it's got the attention of one of our most prominent leaders in our Orlando community. In 2016, Mr. Rosen's passion providing hope through education opportunities led him to embark on a similar program in the Paramore neighborhood. Those of you, once again, in and around Florida understand a cry for help cries out from these neighborhoods, and Mr. Rosen answered the call. And he understands the urban community that's located at the doorway of downtown Orlando. He serves as honorary co-chair of the Bethune-Cookman Santee Project with the late Dr. Demi Heights, the President Emeritus of the National Council of Negro Women. His contributions have reached far beyond Orlando, communities around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the most heartfelt, philanthropic, important business leaders in our community, and I'm proud to say a friend, Mr. Harris Rosen.
Thank you, Rusty. First, I want to say from the bottom of my heart, in light of what we've been through over the past couple of years, thank you so much for being here. I don't have the words to express my appreciation, but thank you, thank you, thank you, and God bless you all. Of course, we hope and pray that we'll see you again next year. That will be a dream come true if that happens. So what I thought I would do is welcome everyone, as I have, and then tell you a little story. What does this guy have to do with AAU? I was born and raised in New York City's Lower East Side, just a couple of blocks from the Bowery. Not exactly a gated community. We played all of our games in the street. Kickball, Ringalivio, Johnny and the Pony, kick the can. I didn't see a swimming pool until I was probably around 11 years old. Mom was taking care of my little brother, and she thought that I should find another activity outside of the neighborhood to keep me busy and away from some of the bad influences in my neighborhood. She signed me up for the Boys Club on 10th Street and Avenue B. I would take the bus there and take the bus back home. I learned how to swim. I started competing. I went to high school. Sadly, high school didn't have a swim team. But I would go from the Bronx to Brooklyn 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and swim at Brooklyn Tech with an AAU team called the Knickerbockers. Coach Alexander was our coach. He was an extraordinary person. He said I had some talent, and he worked hard with me. I progressed so well that I was accepted to Cornell University on a partial swimming scholarship. Back then, Vietnam was heating up. I knew I would be called to serve. So I decided to go through ROTC. I thought if I was going to serve, I might as well serve as an officer. During ROTC, I learned how to fire a pistol. I became so good at it that I made the pistol team. I was on the swim team and the pistol team. Many of my friends were runners. They asked if I would like to join them. I fell in love with cross-country running. In my junior year, I heard that at West Point they were going to have a triathlon contest, running, swimming, and shooting. A precursor to the modern pentathlon, which is running, swimming, shooting, horseback riding, and fencing. I signed up. I placed 6th, much to my amazement. Shortly thereafter, I received a letter inviting me to Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio, Texas, to do what? To try out for the United States modern pentathlon team. Oh my God, how could I try out? I've never been on a horse in my life. I never held an épée ever. I called and they said, don't worry about it. You've got 2 months. We'll teach you how to horseback ride and jump and how to fence. I went there, I drove there. It was an incredible experience. The horse they gave me was Cover Girl. She was so wonderful. She knew that I didn't ride very well, and she was very gentle. Fencing, there was a French instructor who expected us to do things lunge. I discovered that people were not expecting me to touch their toe first. They were expecting a jab in the ribs. I became known as the toe toucher. I learned how to ride and jump steeplechase. I learned how to fence with an épée. And then they had the tryouts for the modern pentathlon team. I knew I didn't have any chance, but I competed with all of the vigor and enthusiasm I could muster. I did well in the run, well in the swim, very well in the pistol. The fencing, I surprised everyone. And now I'm on Cover Girl for the final day doing the steeplechase, which had about 10 jumps. Everything was going well. The last jump, Cover Girl stumbled. I wound up under her neck, holding on with my legs and my arms. If I had fallen off, I would have been disqualified. cover girl couldn't recover. She stumbled down a little hill, and then we had a creek we had to cross. I took a deep breath, and cover girl walked across the creek, up an embankment to a standing ovation. People were so pleased that I finished under the horse's neck. I placed in the top 10, of course, didn't make the Olympic team, but I was so incredibly honored that I had been invited there, and I had done as well as I did. Sports has been an integral part of my life for a long time. I'm a master swimmer. I swim, or have already done it, 1.25 miles a day, 5 days a week. On Saturday and Sunday, I do my walk to make sure that I'm keeping my legs in good shape. And so I cannot even begin to tell you what an incredible honor it is for me to host the AAU. I got to know you guys very, very well during the athletics I competed in over the years. And so I welcome you. We are so incredibly proud to have hosted you. We hope and we pray that we have an opportunity to do the same next year. Have we done okay so far? Yes. Thank you so much. God bless you all.
Harris, I want to thank you for all that you've done, not just here this week, but for all that you've done for the community that I live in, the community that we both serve together. One of the most special awards we have is our life member. I don't know if you can see this, but I would like to present Harris with a life member award and induct him as a life member.
Thank you so much.
Would somebody check, see if he's paid his dues for $14 for this year's card? Tell him that didn't come along with it. Harris, thank you. The most recent addition to our life members
Thank you
club.
so
Thank
much.
you, sir.
God bless everybody.
Mr. Harris Rosen, everybody. Oh, Harris, can we get a picture with you? Where do you want to go?
Take a picture? Okay. No, that's fine. So, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks again.
Thank you, guys.
Our next award is probably one of the second most coveted awards or things we can give out to honor people and honor those folks that have served and served us well. Each year there are 5 people inducted into our Hall of Fame. And those are folks that have worked passionately over many, many years for the good of the AAU. So I would like to, at this point, recognize our 5 inductees into this year's Hall of Fame class. Our first inductee is from Maryland. I know he's watching. Would like to induct Ben DeBose into the Hall of Fame. Oh, we have the plaque. Where's the plaque? Ben, we got it right here. Can you see it? We're giving Ben the award, but we all know behind every strong man there's a strong woman. Our second inductee is Antoinette Bose. We'd like to also introduce Ben and Antoinette Bose into our Hall of Fame. Our third inductee was a very close friend, served the Union very, very well for many, many years. When you say girls basketball, you think of this guy. He worked in the office, out of the office, and I can still remember Hotty Toddy Got 'em Hotty. Our next inductee is Eddie Clinton. As we all know, Eddie passed this year. The honor is being presented posthumously, and we're going to make sure that his friends and family know, and we'll go ahead and take a photo then if that's okay. Our fourth inductee to the AAU Hall of Fame is another person that I'm proud to call a friend. We didn't realize just how deep our roots went until a few years ago. We got telling stories probably in the bar somewhere. But I'm very proud of this guy for what he's done, not only for the AAU, but what he's done for kids and what he's done for my sport. Your fourth inductee to our Hall of Fame, Mr. Charles Oliver. You know, we all watched this year ravage our friends, our family, all the personal losses that we all suffered. And our final inductee this year made not only lifelong contributions to the AAU with his body, his mind, his spirit, but also made financial contributions. Our final inductees from the Niagara District, and that's Dave Davis. At this point, we'd like to see how long Paul can go, and we're taking bets on whether he gets emotional pre, during, or post his recognitions. We're taking wagers in the back, but if he holds out better than I did. But this time I want to bring up Paul Campbell to present the Paul Campbell Passionate Volunteer Award. Paul, if you'll come on. Oh, there he is already. Thank you.
Thank you, Rusty. A few years ago, Roger Gowdy did this award for me. I'm still living, Roger. He says, yes, but we want you to spread the word about the passion in this organization. Every one of you out there deserves this award because of what you do for kids. That's what it's all about. There are a lot of special people that come to this convention each year, and there's a lot of special people back home that believe in the youth of America. I have 3 awards that I want to give this year. I will not introduce the ones that have received in previous years. That getting to be a too long list, and my memory is not that great anymore. But anyway, the first individuals I watch every year at the Junior Olympic Games, and these individuals, they're a couple, and at the Junior Olympic Games in track and field, they spend weeks at the Junior Olympic Games. They also go to other events around the country. And I'd like to have Darnell and Karen Hall come up. Take a picture. Darnell handles our security at the Junior Olympic Games. They bring 5 individuals, police officers from Detroit with them. They deal with the security, the safety of the athletes, and working with the coaches. Karen deals with registration, and to kind of give you an idea, and they spend 10 days, actually spend about 12 days of their life at the Junior Olympic Games. I'm getting through this, Rusty. The next individual is a longtime volunteer. The individual has worked in several sports. He is, in my mind, over the last 4 or 5 years, has really showed his passion to the sport of AAU. I've worked with him on countless conventions. I'm not going to tell you what we did, because that's what stays at the convention. I mean, what happens at the convention stays at the convention. And it was all working to make sure that this organization is what it is now. This individual has the passion to do good, to do better. Joe Gura. Tell you a little story. Joe and I were playing golf in a scramble, and it was several years ago, and he was holding the pin as I was chipping. After I hit the ball, Joe, you know what happened. So I hit him in the wrong spot. So that was. Next individual, I have worked with this individual for a long. I am passionate, but this next individual worked with the AAU for many of years. Left the AAU, then came back. She has really helped us over the years. She's a staff member. Rachel Rosen. Thank you. For all of the new members, Rachel is our marketing, PR, you name it, she does it, and she does it good. Actually, to tell the story, I've been running the Junior Olympic Games for the last, I think this is going to be the 30th year coming up. Last year we were in Houston, Texas, and I'm sitting at home on the couch watching Lester and NBC, and the story came out. Six Flags over, whatever, their water park in Houston had a chlorine leak. And I was sitting there and said, well, there goes opening ceremonies. So we were scheduled to have opening ceremonies at this water park. And when I heard this, I called Janice Burke, who is the CEO of the Harris County Sports Commission, and she says, well, we have to go to Plan B. And in 5 days, she put together a opening ceremonies, and Rachel, through the PR deal, was responsible to let the athletes know, to let the parents know, and everything else, and there was over 13,000 people at the opening ceremonies at Stampede Houston, which is kind of like a big, I'll call it a big open parking lot with a stand, and we actually brought the kids in on a parade and in front of the crowd and stuff, so it was a fantastic deal. And again, we ran the Junior Olympic Games, and if it wasn't for the PR that Rachel put out, we would not have had the attendance that we wanted. Rusty, thank you.
Thanks, Paul. The next category of award is the Presidential Leadership Award. And it's not just presidential leadership. We've asked the officers if they've got some folks that we may not know about that have made contributions, that have really stepped up to make some things happen. And I'll tell you, this has been a very, very tumultuous last 2 years. And there's a lot of people that really stepped up and said, we got to keep this thing going. We got to make stuff happen. And I'd like to recognize at this point in time the folks that I think are deserving of recognition for the contributions that they've made over the last year, year and a half to keeping this vision and this mission alive. And I'm going to start with a guy that I had the pleasure of getting to know a little bit better in Houston this year. So our first recipient of the Presidential Leadership Award is our National Aquatics Chair, Lou Fellinger. Lou. Lou has not only all the responsibilities of what he's doing with his sport, which continues to grow, by the way, and he's doing a good job, but he also took on the undesirable task of having to follow Paul Campbell around for 12 solid days of the Junior Olympics. Paul, thank you for finding somebody that now I don't have to do it. My wife likes the fact that I don't have to follow Paul, because I tell you, if you've never walked around with Paul for 12 days, it's like the Energizer Bunny. So he's found somebody new, and thank you, Lewis, and this first award goes to you. I'm going to go back to 2020. When Roger got a call and they said that the folks in Hampton were not going to be able to do the Junior Olympic Games. He said, we got to do something. We can't not have a Junior Olympic Games. We got to do something. Rusty, you know all those people. Start making some calls. Let's figure something out. Well, we called in a lot of favors. And as a result, in 2020, we had the AAU Junior Olympic Games. And we did it in Brevard, just right down the road. Last year, as we struggled through how do we continue to come out of a pandemic, what events can we run, what events can't we run, do we roll the dice and run outside? We ran into, again, a situation where we needed support, we needed a track, we needed to be able to run a track and field competition. So the next three folks are folks that stepped up every single time I asked them. And these are the people that literally pulled off your Junior Olympic Games in 2020. The first recipient is Giles Malone. Giles owns a sports and entertainment marketing company. He owns a production company, a promotions company, but most importantly, he's a good friend, and he also owns a newspaper. So hopefully we'll get some good publicity out of this stuff. This is my good friend, Giles Malone. When we started talking about the Junior Olympics, we were like, how are we going to do this? You know, how are we going to pull this off financially? We're going to lose a gazillion dollars. You know, we didn't know what to do, and my sports marketing company would shut down. We didn't have anybody but my family. That was it. Everybody had left. COVID had taken over. So I called probably one of the best event promoters that I know and said, will you come help me? Will you help us get into this? And not only did he go out and raise sponsorship money to make the event happen, we pulled him into the AAU family, and he is now working with us to create an AAU program in road racing. I'd like to bring up Mr. Mitch Farnes. And finally, the person that really did the bulk of the work. I got a lot of credit, and I got to stand with the governor, and I got my picture taken, and I got a lot of accolades for being able to do what we did. I didn't do the work. The lady that had to work literally every single day on the phone with Paul and Tony and Mitch and Giles was Corey Charlick. So Corey, congratulations, and thank you for making this a success. And probably the staff favorite. I mean, yeah. The next recipient, a close friend of mine. I consider a friend. Of course, I consider almost everyone in the room a friend of mine. But I'd like to bring up to receive his award Mr. Marv Allen. Marv, come on up, buddy. Where are you? Marv's the kind of guy that you can ask him to do anything and he won't question, just pitch in and, what have I got to do to be a team player, to be another soldier, and we'll just jump in and we'll just get the job done. We need to move blocks around. We need to make phone calls. We need to whatever we've got to do. Marv steps in and do it. Marv, I certainly respect everything, and it doesn't go unnoticed. Thanks, buddy. It was so easy during the last year and a half to say no. We can't do that. No, this is going to be too hard. No, there's this rule. I would much rather, I don't want to hear 100 people tell me why I can't do something. I want one person to tell me how I can. And this next recipient is somebody that said, I'll figure out a way. I'm going to make this happen. And in numbers prove it. From our #1 district in the country, this award goes to Kim Fessler. Kim ran events when nobody else was. He made things happen. And Kim, it certainly didn't go unnoticed. Did he sneak out, or is Kim here? All right. We'll make sure that Kim gets his award. The next two, I'm going to bring them up together. We have leaned and leaned and leaned on these folks. We got to make this happen. Can we make this happen? Hey, what about these things? And every single time they have. And that's Yvonne and Cindy. Yvonne, Cindy, you guys, I see you back there. Come on, get up here and come get your award. Thank you. Thank you, girls. As we walked through this very, very tumultuous time, we leaned very, very heavily on our partners. And we spoke weekly, sometimes more than weekly, sometimes daily, more than daily. What does it look like? How can we do this? And the folks that helped us walk every single step of the way through the decision-making process of how we navigate this COVID landscape and continue to do our events this year are our very good friends at Disney. I'd like to present the next two awards to Jorge Sr. and Vanessa Rojas. If you guys would come up, certainly well-deserved for what you've done to help us. And let me just tell you, Fred is back. Fred, stand up and wave at everybody. Fred, we're happy to have you. No, stand up, Fred. Fred is one of us. I even offered Jorge, if we've got an empty office, we'll put Fred in it, because Fred is certainly somebody that knows the AAU as well as most of us, and has seen the growth and seen the relationships and knows what will work for us. Fred, we're happy to have you back. Looking forward to getting you. It's been back about a week, but we're looking forward to getting you in the mix and talking about what we've got to do to enhance our programs as we move forward. My wife, every single day, comes to me, she goes, "Oh, you talking to your boyfriend again? Talking to your boyfriend again?" I've spent more time on the phone with this guy probably than anybody. And I've certainly spent more time talking to him in conversations than I have with my wife. But he has guided us every step, making sure that everything that we said and we tried to do, we could comply with the code. We did everything in legal. I want to give this one to North Carolina's Rod Seaford. We don't always agree, by the way. But he does win most of the arguments. That's the attorney coming out in it. But thank you, Rod. Our next two are coming out of Colorado, and I'm going to bring them up together. Arlene, Rich, are you guys in the room, hopefully? Are you? I don't see you. What they've been able to do during the pandemic, and I know we came in and we assisted with some programs, and we tried to get some stuff going, and lo and behold, they're back, they're strong, they're doing well, and they deserve this. We'll make sure that Arlene and Rich both get the awards they deserve. You guys have probably heard, and you heard from him a little bit yesterday. Next recipient, he's a close friend of mine. He knows this sports business as well as anything that, or anybody I know as far as in the younger generation, the younger group. He's back there working this, I guess. But Josh, I appreciate everything you've done for me with no expectation of any compensation of any kind. I just say thank you for what you've done, and we'll get you this award too, Josh, if you want to come on up. Or are you working? Is Paul here? Paul Fitzgerald, Virginia? Paul, where are you? Paul? Guess what? You get an award. Come on up here. We appreciate everything you've done, Paul. Thanks, man. I just appreciate everything. I know. He says, I'm shocked. I'm usually in the background, but that's what's really what makes it special, because that's the backbone of what we do. For those people that don't do it for the accolades, they don't do it for the recognition, they do it because it's the right thing to do. This last one, or I've got a couple of other, but this guy, talk about loyal, talk about honor, talk about loyal friends. when it was announced that one of our long time members was not going to come here because they didn't want to get in an airplane, they didn't want to travel, this guy said, I'll get in the car, I'll drive 4 hours to pick you up, and I'll drive you down there and I'll drive you back. I want to give an award to Jim Nichols. Jim, thank you for, I know he's here because I saw him, or maybe he stepped out, but Jim, we're going to get you an award. Oh, there he is. He's trying to hide from me. Now, he told me he's going to turn his receipts to gymnastics to get reimbursed the mileage. I said that'd be okay, probably. As we navigated the landscape last year, the first group to say, we'll accept the responsibility of running our event. We'll get our volunteers together. We'll coordinate everything we need to do. We'll get the equipment. We'll recruit the kids. We'll do everything it takes. And that group was our gymnastics group. I'm going to give this award to 2 members of that committee. Neither one are able to join us today. But for the work that she did here in Florida to grow this district, to have one of the most solid numbers, one of the most solid gymnastics program, the recipient of this year's first one would be Kathy Stunkel. So we're going to give Kathy Stunkel award for her work here in Florida. And when I asked Liz the other day, I said, we've got to recognize somebody on what we did to support the gymnastics move. And the person that she recommended that we all thought would be a good one's not here to join us either, but that's North Carolina's Jessica Harris. So we'd like to give Jessica Harris the next award. There's 2 people that I'm going to give the award to because I didn't have a clue what this was like. The people that have schooled me, that have worked with me, that have helped me, that helped me navigate these waters, I'm going to give one to Debbie and Suki. They've done their damnedest to keep me out of trouble. And between them on one side and Rod on the other, I've been bounced around like a ping pong ball. But they keep me straight, and they deserve a little bit of credit for all that they've put into this. I'm going to make one quick announcement, and then we're going to move to the Jan Lyon Award. So, Rod, I think that's yours, so if you want to kind of start making your way up here for that. If you're going to the Magic game tomorrow night, don't forget there will be a table in the foyer at 3 p.m. And that's where you're going to pick up your tickets. Even if you've texted Suki and you've kind of arranged it, you need to get with her at 3 p.m. tomorrow to pick up your tickets for the Magic game.
When I first gave this award 3 years ago, I stated that everybody in this room knew Jan Lyon. I don't think I can say that now because there are a lot of new people here. So if you don't know Jan Lyon, you need to know why this award is named for her. About 40 years, valuable employee with the AAU. She was a terrific college athlete. She was the absolute rock in the compliance department, started the compliance department, went all the way from boys basketball to compliance, led us through many code revision struggles. I usually thought Jan was the smartest person in the room, wherever we were. So this award is the name for her. Can I have one? I'm not crying because my allergies are bothering me and sun's in my eyes and stuff like that. So, can I read it? The amateur athlete presents. Darn, I can't read this thing. I don't have glasses. Presents the Jan Lyon Award in memory of her faithful service, in recognition of her integrity, diligence, and loyalty, and in appreciation of her outstanding performance and achievement on behalf of the AAU. This one goes to Pam Marshall. I know it is. That's why we didn't tell you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Great. Yeah.
We have one more since we haven't given one in a few years. This award is not limited to staff members. All the first three members were staff members. It's not limited to females, although the first three members have been female. But I'm not going to break with all tradition. I won't read it again, but this goes to Peg Adams.
Our next awards, and listen to this, these two people have put in 50 years of service to the AAU. I'd like to present our Veterans Bowl of 50 years of service to Indiana's very own Lou Owens, and from Oklahoma, Mr. William Bill Meek. Bill, William, Lewis, come on up and get your bowls, guys. We're going to follow this up with our 35 years. And most of you know who you are. If you are, just keep in mind, you're up next. So Bill told me he started administering AAU programs when he was 9. So that'd make him 59 now and eligible for the award. Let's get one. Absolutely. Bill, can I get one of everybody?
I asked Rusky if I could steal a moment or two. This is my wife, Linda. I couldn't have put in over 50, now going on 52 years of coaching and being an athlete, being involved, Linda and I were college sweethearts, got married in college, and she's allowed me the time to spend in amateur sports all these years, and I would like for you all to give her a round of applause.
Now he can go trick or treat and just walk around with a big bowl and get a. Congratulations, Lou. Well deserved. Thank you, Bill.
I had an opportunity 50 years ago as a young junior high coach to have a really good basketball team. They won 3 tournaments out of 3, and then they won 22 games in a row. We were looking for some place to play some more basketball. I heard about this place called AAU, and I took that team. They were just a junior high team, but I took them to play All-Stars, and we won the Junior Olympic Championship in Poplar Bluff, Missouri, and that was in 1971, 50 years ago right now. And my wife has been with me through the whole thing. We were a young married couple at the time, and we brought 3 kids through this program. All of them played AAU from the time they could say basketball until they played college. And we just have been a big part of this, and thank you all for letting us be part of you. My wife, Jeannie, please stand up. Lou got his wife clear up here before you did, but 52 years we've been doing this. Thanks.
All right, these guys put me on the spot. I'd like to thank my lovely wife, Kathy, stand up. But I do have a bone to pick because there was somebody last night and they said, "Oh, did you bring your daughter to the convention?" I said, "Yeah, my daughter, Corey." And they said, "Oh, no, the one with the dark hair." So she's actually my wife of a long time. I'll figure it out later. All right, our next award, 35 years of service. Mary Jane Milner, Michael Lujan, and Liz Nichols. You guys, if you come up, let's give your 35-year service awards. $25-year awards are next, so if you know you're in that category, and then the final category before we get into the last presentation would be our New Life members.
I also want to thank my family and a person who's been a staple in my life and kept me in the AAU and actually made me who I am. That's Peg Adams and my husband, Jim Nichols. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Our 25-year, and does it call your name if you want to start coming on up? Antoinette Chavez, Dave Preller. Dave, how can you have been in 25 years? You're just a youngster. James McCleary, Janice Henderson, Jerry Inman, Joanna Scott, Maria Brunker, saw her earlier, I think. Mark Gambini, Michael Brunker. You guys got in the same year, huh? That makes sense. Michelle Newbern, Nicholas Scott, Paul Fichera, Sidney Snow, Willie Brown, and Yvonne Devlin. Come on up. How do we take this? The middle? I'm not in that. Thank you, guys. We have 3 new life members to add to our group. Jerry Milner, Giles Malone, Clayton Shelby. Come on up and get your life member award at this time. I saw Jerry somewhere. Up, here's Jerry. Clayton, I thought I saw Clayton somewhere. Maybe not. All right, we're going to do a short tribute after this, so I hope you AV guys are ready for that. And if you're interested in life member stuff, you can talk to Pam Marshall, and we can probably work some stuff out. Finally, before we leave today, I'd be extremely remiss if I didn't pay a little homage to our past president. We wrestled and struggled with what do we do, how do we recognize Roger's contributions, how do we keep the legacy alive, how do we honor the sacrifice, the time, the energies that he had put into this for many, many, many years. So the officers spoke, we discussed it, we spoke with the family, we spoke about a board of directors meeting, that we're going to assist the family.
Let me think of my starting thing.
Hello, welcome to Teams. I'm Dr. Roger J. Gowdy,
President and CEO of the Amateur Athletic Union of the United States. But more importantly for this video, I am also the national chairman for the sport of AAU volleyball. Okay, you don't have to film me, but we're in our meeting room now. This is kind of like our Hall of Fame room. Anytime?
Anytime. Except he's calling me back.
Somebody's trying to get a hold of me bad. And several other, April Rose, Ross, and getting out there and supporting the Starlings organization, because it's a great organization for kids across the country, and we at the AAU want to show our support to the Starlings. Hopefully you screwed that up. Can you edit?
By virtue of the authority vested in me, as President and CEO of the Amateur Athletic Union, do hereby proclaim the
I'm out here just to demonstrate what I normally do at 5 o'clock in the morning, but that's walk. So I'm just going to give a brief demo of walking. As you can see, I'm not walking, I'm not running, I'm walking at a fairly decent pace. But our first Junior Olympic Games was in 1967. I was incorrect.
And go.
As you can see, much to my surprise, I did more than one push-up. I actually did 5. I struggled on the 5th one, and I'll admit that. But I've been involved with AAU as an athlete as far back as 1968. I was in high school, and I did the, wasn't the pentathlon, it was the heptathlon, the 5 event one. We'll be together, we will be doing sports again, It'll be great for this country. It's part of the fabric of this great nation that we have, and it always has been. So we look forward to working with you again, and we just wanted to let you know we're still here for you. But that wasn't really good. Would you?
I thought it was good.
Oh, did you? Okay. I fumbled.
And so just lastly, just any closing thoughts? It's completely your floor.
It's my floor? Oh, boy. Okay. That's a scary thought.
But once again, from the AAU National Headquarters, this is Roger Gowdy. I'm issuing the challenge to some of my friends and colleagues.
And I think our volunteers and our organization have to be committed to bringing people together and working together for the good of all mankind.
Couldn't have said it better.
I don't know. Maybe we'll see.
Thank you, everybody. We have worked with the family, and I'm going to bring Kyle up here to talk about some of the details, but our thought was, let's help them to create a scholarship. As you know, Roger, one, he loved the Browns, and, you know, I guess I can forgive him from that. He liked Ohio State, I guess, but he was passionate about his 42 years in public education, where his roots were. And they were back in these high schools in Ohio. His son, Brian, actually teaches at Ashtabula. And we had thought, what a fitting way than to work with a family and create a scholarship fund that Brian and the family could give out every year. So, Kyle, if you'd like to come up and say a couple of words about the scholarship.
Hello, everybody, and I think too quickly, my mom did want to say a word to everybody, so she recorded a video. I believe Josh has that we can play here, and then I'll kind of close this out.
Hi, everyone. From rainy, cold Ohio, I hope you're having better weather than we are. I just wanted to take a minute to say thank you so much for the very, very generous donation to the Roger Gowdy Scholarship Fund. I just can't thank you enough. And on behalf of all of our kids, and especially Kyle, who actually really got all of this together for us, we are so thankful and grateful for this donation. I do want to let you know that Ashtabula is really one of the poor school districts and areas in the state of Ohio. It's where Roger grew up. He worked hard and was lucky enough to be athletic to get a scholarship, and we know not every child has those opportunities, so we're so thrilled to be able to help kids out so that they can get a good education and go on to do just fabulous things. So a huge thank you to the AAU. I hope your convention is going well. I wish I was there, but I'm sure you're all doing just great. It's nice to see everybody. I did just want to ask you one little favor, and you know what to do. We want to do this for the big guy. So when I say we are, you're going to say, AAU, loud and proud. Are you ready? We are AAU. Thank you guys. All the best.
Thank you. So just as kind of an order of housekeeping, many of you may have seen we put some cutouts on the table there. So it's been a little bit of a slow process getting this all set up, but if you're having any issues, if you wanted to make donations, just maybe take that with you. We're working with PayPal to figure out exactly what's going on. as far as people trying to use like a credit or debit card to donate has not been working, but if you have a PayPal account, that should work. So like I said, if you want to either take a picture of it or bring it with you, we should hopefully have that resolved in the next week or so. But really, I just wanted to thank some people because, you know, I certainly didn't do this alone, and it wouldn't have happened without all of these people. So first, my mom, who you guys all just saw, and my entire immediate family. As I'm sure you can imagine, it's been a difficult almost 12 months now. So without my family, mom, 2 brothers and sister, and then my wife, Brittany, who is an amazing mother. Many of you may have seen our daughter running around yesterday tearing things up, so she you know, couldn't do it without those people. And then Rusty and the officers also, the AAU board of directors, you guys kind of supporting this really, you know, means the world to me and our family. Joe Gurr and the volleyball committee, I know, have pledged a donation to the scholarship fund, so to all of those people, thank you. And then the AAU staff, starting with Debbie from the top. She's, you know, never been anything but supportive in this initiative, and you know, that's meant the world. Suki has helped with a lot of this, getting everything together, getting the photos, and trying to keep the memory alive. And then lastly, Angela Guardia, who, if you don't know her, she's our finance director. And she has been amazing in getting everything set up with the state, setting up a 501c3 so it is a nonprofit, and she's really done a lot to help with this. And then Carrie Burns, who, if you don't know her, she made that in memoriam video, which I've watched hundreds of times, and I think it does a great job of showing the life that he had, and you know, his funny side, and then also his kind of more serious side. So Carrie, thank you. Josh Bourne, who's back there, he made the logo for the foundation, has been helpful with trying to get the website set up and doing all that. And lastly, and then I'm done here, is, you know, everybody in the room. I'll never forget when we were at convention, I guess, in 2014, and one of the strategies he used when he was speaking was to have people raise their hand if he had worked with you before. And I'll never forget looking around the room and just seeing the hundreds of hands that went in the air. And, you know, he really did consider AAU family. I still consider AAU family, so I know a lot of you have seen me at conventions since I was Lily size running around. So there's another generation of Gaudies, for better or for worse, so you're not getting rid of us. But that's all. I just wanted to thank everybody. And, yep, if you have any questions, feel free to pull me aside. I'm happy to help with anything. Thank you.
All right, we're going to close this out by a little quiz to see just how much everybody kind of retained. I want everybody to hold your hands about this far apart. Okay, if you've heard this or seen this before, just bear with me. Here's what I'm going to do, Gura. Every time my right hand is over the top of my left hand, I just want you to clap. Skills test. See how well you absorb the information, all right? Right hand over the left hand, we clap. You ready? Let's try it. Come on, let's try it. Much better. Right hand over left hand, we're clapping. Ready? 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 Come on. You knew it was because my wife, she's seen this 100 times. One more. Thank you very much. Appreciate everybody for coming. Enjoy the rest of the convention. Remember to check tomorrow to get your tickets. Check the schedule, make sure there's any updates involved in anything. Thank you guys all for coming. If we don't see you again, we'll see you tomorrow at the Sullivan Luncheon here to honor some of America's finest athletes. Thank you.